Hey everybody. So yeah, I was knocked off the internet because the internet just shut down like uh just prematurely. Well, prematurely, like it should have shut down to begin with. Sometimes you have to your modem. But anyways, yeah, the two Facebook Live videos done by my participants in my group have been by people who are dealing with the coronavirus, the COVID-19. And it's no joke. I mean, listening to Mari, I think that's her name, teaching her 16-year-old daughter how to make the juice. She's been watching the videos for the last like 6 months. And she is dealing with this virus that it took her, was taking her voice away, just really just taking her down level by level by level. And she also has predispositions as well. I'm telling you guys, this is crazy serious. I mean, people ask, well, do you know anyone that has a COVID? Well, there's two people in my group that have been on the protocol. One has been on the protocol ever since I went to Portugal, and he contracted COVID and used it actually to get through the hardest part of his illness as far as the lungs. And then a young lady and her young mother, she finally, if I'm going to do the 6 months, watching me just go through my evolution, and she's finally going to do it. And she wished she'd done it sooner, but that's okay. Okay. Some of you guys are going to be exposed to COVID-19 and you'll survive it. It's going to happen. You'll survive it. Some of you are going to contract it and it's going to take you down level by level, notch by notch. And when you realize that the writing's on the wall, what are you going to do? Some of you are lucky enough to get through it. Some of you are lucky enough to get through it. But I'm telling you, when you are facing death in the face, you're going to move heaven and earth to stay alive. Because you know when it's really close. You know when death is close. You know when it just takes another cough. It just takes another, day, another exposure, another whatever to take you over the edge. And I don't want anybody to be in that position, but sometimes it takes to be in that position to get you guys to move. If it takes you facing death in the face in some way, shape, or form, and you're still able to walk and talk and whatever, fine. Okay? Good morning, Edith. I applaud Mary. I applaud her. And this is some advice to her as far as doing the juice. When you make the juice, or when you start putting the ingredients together, just get the 2 cups of water, throw just like a few of those little bunches. I mean, you can try to do like the 1 cup and figure out the 1 cup, but just throw, one of those pieces of the cabbage and the kale, and less is more. I'm not saying be so stingy, but you don't have to overpack the you don't have to over blender. You just want just enough to where when you actually take the whole blender, like the whole blender thingy, or what do you call it, the whole container, you want to have it to where it's 25% cabbage and 75% kale. Okay? And I hope I'm not skipping. If I'm skipping, let me know, you guys, okay? But just measure out all the cups of water and the salt, and then just put in the cabbage as you see that looks like it's going to yield you a juicy ferment, okay? Because I don't want it to be so thick where it's so hard to get down. I want you to yield a lot of juice. And what's going to happen too is that when you do the 24-hour plus ferment, you'll just take pieces of the solid. If you do make a very thick ferment, you'll take the pieces of solid, put it in another jar, add a few ingredients, or add a few of the fresh ingredients, and just a few, and then make sure that the overall jar is like 25% pulp cabbage and then 75% water and salt. Okay? And so that way, you don't have to worry about trying to measure so perfectly. You don't have to measure so perfectly, because what I do is I just throw a bunch of cabbage and water and salt. I mix it up. I'm like, oh gosh, there's a lot of cabbage in here. So I still pour it in the jars, but then I lay off the cabbage. I may not even put cabbage in the blender. I just put water and salt, and then I just even out the jars so it actually is more juicier. As long as the water and the salt are the perfect ratios, what it's supposed to be, it doesn't matter how you configure the cabbage. I mean, you can have 1 cup, a half a cup, you can put 2 cups, as long as the jars come out 25% cabbage and 75% water and salt. So you can't make a mistake. Even if you make it too thick, don't worry about it. If it's too thick, then get more jars. Take a scoop. If it's like a mason jar, like a quart jar, just take a scoop. It's like an ice cream scoop. Take some and put it in each jar. Add water and salt. Sit it out there. Because even if it's just like a thin, like let's say like a thin line on top and a thin line on bottom, or like an inch or 2 of cabbage on the top and then some sunk to the bottom, you can leave it out long enough for everything to sink, and then all the water and the salt rise to the top, and all the solids are so fermented that go to the bottom. That's how I usually do it. And you can always mix and stir, and it's just you can't mess up. You just can't mess up. Okay? And so, I don't want you guys to wait until this damn virus comes and takes a hold of you, because here in Ohio, we haven't seen the freaking worst of it. Right now, New York is getting kicked. Their asses are getting kicked. They said in Ohio, DeWine, our governor, he was saying that there's probably over 100,000 people that have been exposed to this. Okay? Which means that if you have predispositions, it's going to kick your ass. If you have major predispositions, it's going to kick your ass. So those that are like saying, oh yeah, I'm going to disregard the social distancing, I'm going to go visit my friends and family, and because I'm strong, I can handle it, it could be a super, and you're being selfish. Okay? We haven't seen the peak of this. We have not seen the peak of this at all. So if I'm skipping, I'm going to stop this right now because I don't know if I'm skipping or not. But let me know can you guys hear me okay? Just somebody tell me if it's not skipping. I'll wait. But I'm telling you guys, don't wait for this virus to get a hold of you, because by that time you're in the hospital competing for a ventilator. And when it happens like that, you're going to be sequestered from everybody. They're going to treat you as if you're a pariah. And you could die alone. You could die alone. So unless you are dying, yeah, they say that. Thank you, Jean. Unless you're dying. Yes, it's skipping. Okay, fluttered 2 or 3 times. Okay. Yeah, that's the internet. But unless you're absolutely dying, just do the Jilly Juice protocol. But if you are dying, then you're going to have to go call the hospital and compete for a ventilator. So it's better to be proactive and bring up all your predispositions and face this virus in the face. And yeah, you're going to have to, hack up a bunch of crap. But I'm telling you, some of you are not going to survive this. Some of you, we're going to see people in our lives, in our social circles, pass away because we haven't been hit yet. I'm prepared for it here in Ohio. I don't want to be prepared for it, but I am, because I'm already watching the indicators in China. I've watched the indicators in Italy. I'm watching the indicators here in Ohio. I mean, there are people that are having their cancer, disease, and chronic illness, whatever it is, accelerate. Okay? And so it's no joke. When you have major issues, you're going to be ripe for this virus to go and kick your ass. And some of you, are going to have to deal with that, and it's going to suck because you're going to have to compete like everybody else, and I don't know, whatever. But it, Mari, you had me moved to tears, really. Your post, because you're such a sweet lady. And I had to be, I'm very harsh with everybody, just so you know, because I don't know who is serious, who's not. And so I make people jump through hoops. Because I have to know that I'm not wasting my time with somebody. Somebody else that could be utilizing my, my energy to where, okay, I'm going to watch your video. Okay, I'm going to write a comment. I'm going to find a way to give you support. Okay? So I make sure that people in my group are serious. They're not going to take away from the group. They're not going to diminish the integrity of the group. And they are the ones that are going to be respectful. And if they have nothing to contribute, they stay silent. And if they have something to contribute, then they be this beacon for other people as well as themselves. That's the society I want. I want people who are inspiring other people, or people who know when they don't have anything to contribute, that they shut up. That's what I want. People who know that they are not ready to really belong to a strong community, that they just hang back. Right, Cap. Okay. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's the internet. So, anyways, I'm going to get off, but you guys just know I know people that have COVID-19 and they're all over the world and they're in my group. Bye.